I've been talking about global warming for a while now, as you might guess, and actually I was in Chicago the other day. After I finished my talk, a man came up to me and said, "You surprised me. You talk a lot about cost and the need to keep costs down. How can you really be an environmentalist?" I explained to him that while I absolutely believe we need to bring emissions down, way down in this country, I also am passionate about the need for government action and a law that simultaneously grinds costs down, because it matters what consumers pay. The only way, in fact, to have a sustainable law is to have one that is broadly supported, because it does the job that needs to be done while keeping costs as low as possible. Now, some of you in this room are probably worried that it's possible that we could construct a global warming law that could drive the economy right off a cliff. Others may be worried that we're not moving fast enough to solve the problem of global warming, given the threat and the magnitude of that threat to all of us. I'm here to tell you we have to be concerned both about the economy and solving this problem, and you, the Public Power Association, with your history and your commitment and your mission to solve problems at affordable costs, are exactly who I want to be talking to this morning. So thank you, Mark, for your introduction and for inviting me, because the can-do spirit in this room, we really have to put to work to solve this problem. Now, we need a law. If folks who collected garbage were allowed to just throw that garbage anywhere, I'm afraid some would. And all of us, when we drive cars or fly airplanes or produce power, all of us right now put the global warming pollution into the air because there's no law against it and everybody else does. That's the way it works so far, and no wonder we haven't yet taken care of this air pollution problem. And it is an air pollution problem because it's basically a problem of too much pollution into the air. But we can solve that by creating a system of declining caps, limits on how much air pollution is put into the air, limits that in fact are the only way we've ever solved an air pollution problem anywhere in our country, in fact anywhere in the world. Now, when I talk about the can-do spirit, I'm reminded of a fellow named Bernie Carl in Alaska. Bernie went to Alaska years ago from Illinois in order to work on the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. 11 years ago, he bought a resort, the Chena Hot Springs Resort. Problem is, the springs weren't too hot. They were kind of lukewarm. He had some other problems, Bernie did. The resort is 60 miles north of Fairbanks, far off the nearest grid. So he had to generate his own electricity, and he was burning $1,000 a day of diesel fuel to do that. Bernie wanted to do something about his diesel fuel bill, and the first thing he did was use some of the warm water in the hot springs to heat the water in his swimming pool. But this didn't make that much of an impact on the $1,000 a day bill, and to complicate life, he had a vision. He was an American entrepreneur. He had a vision that he would get a lot more tourists coming to his hot springs if he built an ice hotel. So he built the ice hotel, but summer came, and summer in Alaska, the sun shines 24 hours a day. The cooling system couldn't keep up, and the whole ice hotel melted. Forbes magazine took notice. They called this the dumbest business idea of the year. But Bernie was an American entrepreneur. He wouldn't be stopped. He got unconventional. He started hiring engineers. One was a dog sledder named Gwen, who would run the Iditarod. And he figured out a way to rebuild the hotel, rebuild the cooling system, And then he wanted to also figure out a way to generate electricity using those warm waters in the hot springs. Problem? Conventional wisdom said there was no way to do it. The water was only half the temperature that supposedly could generate electricity. He figured it out, though, and today the hot springs resort is kept heated and cooled, and all the electricity is generated by this lukewarm water that supposedly couldn't be used to make electricity.